I took all the lights. I had 3 strings of lights that I went ahead and, obviously you've seen the trees there.
Yeah,
And
you set this right up where Jen had found her track.
yeah. And where about 30 yards east of where that tree, or where it's where the recorder was, and 30 yards east is where that potential tree fell. So I set up the lights there, not knowing the tree there at that particular time. But I set up the lights there, and when I was setting these up, I was back there by myself, and I actually recorded myself setting it up, so I maybe use it for later footage where you speed yourself up, hanging something up. And so when I was back there hanging up those lights, during the daytime, I stopped recording because I finished everything up and was about ready to go. And all of a sudden I heard some tapping, like this knocking going on. And, first thing you think, oh, it's a woodpecker and stuff. But this was a little more unique as far as it was sounded like someone was hitting on the side of a tree, but it was resonating different, like how part of the bark is gone, how you could hit something and then it just resonates different from when you're hitting a stick on bark and when you're hitting it on the bare side of the wood right there. Not saying it's Bigfoot, but I had that experience. As soon as I heard that, I was like, obviously the recorder's off, and so I went to go turn the camera back on to record it, and that's when it stopped. And I didn't hear it the entire time before or since then. I did let the recam.
Maybe you want to tell the audience what your idea and thinking was about putting these lights up in the trees in the first place, Brent.
Yeah, so I think with Bigfoot, it really kind of comes down to creating an environment that they're comfortable with, and I think a ambient light source like these type of lights here, where it's a predictable light source for them, so they might feel more comfortable knowing that they're not going to have a flashlight shown in their face, and it will also bring attention to a particular area. Maybe they'll get a little more interested in it again, since it's a light source that's a predictable one and not one they have to really worry about exposing themselves. And you just try different things to, because I'm kind of at the point where you're not going to go out and find them. You have to go figure out an area where they might be and try and draw them in by doing different things that might make you a little more interesting than the other campers, because I'm sure they can go see a camper a dime a dozen, but what's going to make you more interesting versus these other campers and stuff, and do it in a way that's not going to be threatening, where it's going to be an innocent, like this right here. We had the stuffed animal out there, we had these lights out there, and I don't know if it works. I used these lights last year at Bumping Lake, and I know Tristan and Paul Graves mentioned that they might have saw something around my tent because I had the lights up over by my tent and stuff. So it's one of those things where you just keep trying to figure out a way to make an interaction possible, create the environment for it. I'm a firm believer that if you want to have any sort of interaction that's not a fleeing glimpse, you're going to have to do this at nighttime and have them feel comfortable in an environment, and you yourself feel comfortable in the environment, and fingers crossed and stuff. That's pretty much the basis with the lights right there.
So what you guys are looking at is I have my camera on dual. So you're not just looking at what's in front of me, but you're also looking at me and what's behind me. So
I tried to set up a circular area almost, in a way, like a boundary. And I've always talked about this many times in the past about setting up light ring experiments, and this is kind of a rudimentary part of it. And I just had these set up to USB battery packs, and I got these off Amazon for like 10, 12 bucks. And yeah.
It's kind of set up like a Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
So it's really unique. It's simple. It's primitive, but could be very effective at some point.
Yeah, and Brad, I
would not write this off. I would try this again.
Yeah. How long would these little battery packs last?
They should. Some of them were. One of them lasted into the next day, and the other ones I'd probably say most of the night with how much